going in, putting in the hours, being modest, being patient, all those things, those are products that are very, very rare today in today's industry. And this is something that if that's the only thing that people take from this conversation of ours, that's what I want them to take.
Cheers! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode of Hospitality Secrets Podcast. Your host, Paul Sfirlea here, and I'm super happy that you came back for another story, for another surprise guest, for another few questions that I wanted to ask. And as you are used to, in this podcast, it's about finding out more information about hospitality industry, more information about how can we apply hospitality in the hospitality industry. So my surprise guest that I'm having this week, it's a good friend of mine that we met actually in 2015. It's Ariel from Tel Aviv. We met actually in Istanbul, when we participated in World Class in 2015. I was supposed to represent Romania in South Africa, Cape Town, and Diageo organized a boot camp for the Eastern Europe countries, and they sent us a few days in Istanbul. A few countries we were there training, becoming better, learning about how to represent best our country in the World Class competition. So that was the first time when I met Ariel, and since then I saw his showmanship. He knew how to entertain. Even if he was not performing, he was always entertaining the discussion, the moment. He was like a pure presence there. So we got friends, we chat, we had some fun. And then at the global finals in South Africa, Cape Town 2015, I didn't manage to see him, but everybody was talking about that guy from Israel who was amazing, who was absolutely fabulous. And I saw one of his challenges, and I was so impressed about the level he was doing the mixology, and not only the mixology, but he was doing best the hosting, the hospitality that he was giving to the judges impressed me a lot. And everybody was saying Ariel is gonna win. So unfortunately he didn't won that year. He was the second place, but everybody said that he was deserving to win. So I'm sure that we learned a lot in that experience, and I think that from the second place you got the desire to do best. From the first place, usually you are stepping back and enjoying. Shortly, I was so impressed, and what I liked most about Ariel was the way he was showing hospitality, the way he was hosting the judges when he was competing, which was marvelous, and I felt in love with that way of hosting actually the guest, the host-guest relationship, that he did it brilliantly. So I'm super excited and super honored that Ariel accepted the invitation. Ariel Leizgold, welcome to Hospitality Secrets. Ooh! Fireworks. Thank you for accepting the invitation. It's a pleasure to chat.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a real pleasure, and it's great to see you. Even though it's only on Zoom, still I'm super excited and happy to see you.
It's always a pleasure to chat with friends, to chat about this beautiful industry. And I know that you are doing lots of things. Now you are in Israel, in Tel Aviv, no?
Correct. I'm in Tel Aviv working on the recovery, or should we say the re-embarkment of our venues here in Tel Aviv. My company has 6 venues.
Ooh, 6 venues, like restaurants, bar.
Correct, yeah, restaurants, bars. We have a cocktail bar for events that specializes in events. And we do I do some public speaking and consulting and everything that we showcase. So
I knew that you do a lot, and I saw at some point you were opening a bar in China. If I'm saying it right, you are like doing international work in the hospitality industry.
Well, yeah, we did a big project in China a few years ago. That was in South China, but this ended quite a long time ago. What we're doing right now is we're working on our own project in Berlin. We're launching Bellboy Bar, Bellboy, which is one of our venues, or should we say the crown jewel of our company here in Tel Aviv. So we're launching the Bellboy Bar brand in Berlin.
Ooh, so this is like a secret, no? We started with the secrets, like
Paul, you are
Bellboy will be in Berlin.
yes, yes.
When?
You're the first, the global launch of well, at least noticing that the Bellboy is coming to Berlin or going outside of Israel. So this was, had it not been for COVID, we would have been open by now. So unfortunately, COVID put a stop to the project, but it's now up and running. And we're hoping very much that by the fall, so September or October of this year, we will have launched already in Berlin. So this is super exciting, and also quite tasking with regards to being as busy as we are right now. So this is a mouthful. And a handful.
Amazing! Congratulations for taking the Bellboy baby outside and showing it to the world.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm always super delighted to discuss about what we do at Bellboy. Not only at Bellboy, but Bellboy as a model or as a symbol of the true essence of my view of hospitality, and how I view how people make their choices and the decisions that they make, and they're making the choice of which venue they would they would deposit their free time, free money, and free energy. And it's I contest that it's a big responsibility for us as people of hospitality to make good of their time, and to really challenge them and kind of energize full excitement into our craft. So this is Bellboy for me is a true model of this, and we're super excited of going out and
nice.
Doing
This is I think what I saw at you when you were like competing. You were putting like the essence of hospitality, of why the people are drinking, what they are drinking, how to host them in the best way, how to show amazing hospitality in that specific moment. So very nice, very nice.
Thank you. Well, yeah. I believe that this is the essence of the craft, of bartending, is more than just serving drinks and food, and it's more from other than the design and everything else. It's a plethora of all the elements coming to life between you and the relationship between you and the guest. But more than anything, it's about your personality. It's about how you project yourself.
You put the soul in the place. You give the vibe and you give it a soul. As Salvatore Calabrese was saying in previous episode, that he went with Peter Dorelli to a bar and they were staying in front of the bar, and Peter stopped and said, "This place has a soul." So I think that's the soul.
This is true. So if Peter said it, then who am I?
And you are brilliantly doing it, like giving soul to places.
Well, this is, I think, what I try, me and my company, what we try to do the most is to create venues that seem like they were always there, like they were born there. Like nice. It's something that takes you, obviously detaches you from time and place, but makes you feel 100% at home. And even if it's a challenging appearance, if it's a challenging venue, still it's something that you undertake in the best of ways. And soul, I think, is the key to succeeding in this.
Very nice, very nice. Danny Meyer said also that hospitality, it's about when you go into a restaurant, you don't know if you went out or you arrived home. As you said, you make a place to feel like home.
Definitely.
Nice.
Danny Meyer knows that.
Yeah. There are some people I like to find out a lot of insights from this industry, because I know there are a lot of secrets hidden somewhere, even though they are not so secret, but there are hidden things somewhere that can help the audience to relaunch their businesses in the hospitality industry post COVID. So you are doing plenty of things. Where can the listeners find your work? Where can they, if we have listeners from Berlin and they really want to work, for example, at the Bellboy, or to book a spot when it opens, where can they can find your work and your nice projects?
Yeah. So firstly, we will start recruiting within a couple of months. So by next month, or even the following month, so people can start sending in their resumes. And by the way, it's a good thing that you asked. So it's if you could also publish our information for people to send in their resumes, that
For
would be
the
great.
listeners, you already have in the description, you just put the contact below and you'll find the websites where you can follow Ariel and apply for the Bellboy in Berlin, BBB. No? Nice,
It will
nice.
be Bellboy will be situated in Mitte, uh, as a big part of as a part of the big Hilton Berlin complex. It's not a hotel bar, but it's part of the block of buildings where the Hilton Berlin is, on a nice, beautiful street corner overlooking the cathedral, and Gendarmenmarkt. So it's a beautiful part of the city, and it's a big venue. So we're going to need plenty of working hands and people who love other people and want to surround themselves with beauty and wisdom. So this is a
Nice.
major part of what we're looking for.
I like it so much. We look for people who love other people. I mean, I think this is the essence. From here it starts. It's sprouting. So
Well, it's what is left once you take away all the noise of being so-called a mixologist, or doing all these fancy things. When you take away all this extra noise, this what I call white noise, what is left is the pure interaction between you and your guests. So, and this is the essence of things. And people who don't host from the gut, who don't use their gut and heart when they bring in their hospitality game, they're just not in the right field. So this is I think crucial for genuine professionals.
amazing. When you take out the noise, what is left? The pure essence of hospitality. Wow. I like it so much. Very nice, very nice. This is what I'm talking about. I'm so excited about, and I enjoy doing these episodes because I'm finding those like diamonds about the hospitality. So, on which platforms can the listeners follow you? Instagram, Facebook, website.
Yeah, definitely. Instagram, it's Ariel Leizgold, just one long word, Ariel Leizgold. On Instagram, I'm also on Facebook with the same name, the same handle, Ariel Leizgold. Otherwise, follow me on Tinder.
Which is the account? If you're around.
Yeah, social media has become such a huge thing, that many people think that whatever they do, it needs to be on Instagram. So, but we've become so busy, especially lately with the re-embarkment of all the venues, that we don't. Well, at least me personally, I don't really have the proper time to think it over. But we'll be back relatively soon. And also, you can follow all the venues.
This is what I wanted to ask you. Which are the venues? I think they speak more on social media than you do, and they tell more things about you than you do on social media, because those are the image.
Completely, I agree. So yeah, firstly, you need to follow Bellboy with Bellboy Cocktails.
Bellboy with Bellboy cocktails.
Yeah, Bellboy Cocktails is on Instagram. The handle for
Insta.
Instagram, Bellboy Cocktails.
Okay.
And then we have Fantastic, which is another version of the showcase of our version of hospitality. So it's
Nice.
called Fantastic TLV for Tel
TLV.
Aviv. Yeah,
Good.
Fantastic TLV
Instagram or Facebook?
on Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
And then you can follow 223 as well.
223. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah, so 223 bar is the handle for the Instagram for 223. And
Good.
then you can follow our Greek or Mediterranean style restaurant, which is called Kalamata Rest. Kalamata Restaurant.
Kalamata
Yes,
restaurant.
Kalamata Restaurant.
Good, good, good. You'll have the links in the description, so just click the comment area, or it depends where. If you listen to this podcast, just click in the description, and you'll have the links to see what actually Ariel is doing this period. How is he expressing his his genius in this industry? So you
Also,
are
what we're
Yeah.
doing right now is we're building a new hotel. Yeah, so it's going to be the first hotel that we're partnering with a company of partners, and it's going to be the first hotel, full operational hotel venue that they're going to be launching. So it's going to have 34 rooms. It's going to be right here in Tel Aviv. 34 rooms with a bar and restaurant, and also a nice spa and some events spaces. So this is a big project for us, and it's also quite exciting. And it's another outlet which we're very excited about. So
What's
this is
the
something.
name of this? Because the hotel sounds very interesting. Because usually, if we travel from outside in Tel Aviv, we need a nice hotel to provide all the facilities to enjoy the city.
Definitely. So it's going to be called Hotel Levantine.
Hotel
Levantine.
Levantine.
Yes, Levantine. But it's gonna take another good 4, 5, 6 months until we
So
launch.
when the borders will open,
Hopefully,
let's hope.
hopefully,
Yeah, let's hope.
let's hope that everything goes well with the recovery for Europe and everything else, so that the borders can open. And everybody who's listening and watching us, if you haven't got your shot yet, your vaccine, please make sure that you go as
And
quick as possible, because it truly is life changing. And you can take the example from Israel, which is a small country, but still to get vaccines for the entire country is a big deal, and it's a big project. And we were happily quite successful in it, and you can see that things are going back relatively back to normal. So it's a good tip that I can tell you, and it doesn't have anything to do with hospitality, but maybe it does. Because
at some point, yeah.
end of the day, it is our responsibility towards our peers and our fellow men and women.
From the love
To
of people, for the love of people, it's not about just us getting sick, but it's about infecting others and the health of others. So it is, in the essence, it is about hospitality.
1,000,000%. So and we always think about our loved ones, and just think about that your loved ones are not just your go-to organic loved ones. People are your loved ones as well. So people you interact with, and complete strangers, they can be loved ones as well. So take care of them as well as you take care of yourself.
Nice, nice. Very, very nice. Very well put it. So you are doing plenty of things. You are helping the industry to go back. But I have like a question. Where did everything started? What's your backstory in the hospitality industry?
Well, it's not to wear out a cliche, but it all started from home. But it all started from home. My parents are both in the medical profession. My mother is a pediatrician. My father is in the dental medicine. And regardless of that, I grew up in a home that was always super hosting. So we had a big living room, and we were always discussing the size of the living room, how many people it can contain. And this was kind of like a full discussion about going from hosting one group of people to the next. So almost every other week, we would have people over for some sort of dinner party. And my mother, she would always go through great lengths, even though she was like, she was not a homemaker. Yeah, she was a full-time doctor and everything. But, the rest of her free time was directed towards her family and, me and my brother and my father, her husband. And then also hosting from time to time our guests. And my mother would always go through great lengths of showcasing a big selection of whatever food that she was making, etc. But it was always like super aesthetic. And she always made a point of changing things so that no dinner party looked like the way it was, like the way she showcased it before. So it was always changing. It was always so special, also for us, as permanent attendants of these parties, of the showcases of hospitality. It was always so exciting for us that she would, with her two hands, she would create this magic for sometimes 20, 30, 40 people on her own. And then my dad, my father, who was also a character, would always walk around with this special robe or jacket that he would insist on wearing throughout my entire childhood. And he would always be with his vodka and or cognac or whatever he was drinking at the time. And it was never either or; it was always both. So so he would always make sure that everybody had a drink in their hands, and he would always be there with a beautiful joke and always hosting with the genuine actual managing of the evening. Yes, so it was always like there was never like drinking without a reason. There was always like a toast to be made,
celebrating.
So everybody had to participate.
Engaging them, yeah.
Engaging the guests, and then I found that in my adulthood, choosing the profession of hospitality, I've taken so many elements from these simple home elements. Yeah, I've taken so many of them into my work and into my craft. And when I meet people, complete strangers, I take pride in making them feel completely convenient and completely at home and comfortable. So, and I think that this is an art form that not many people, if it doesn't really come, one, it needs to come from the heart and from the gut, but then also you need to understand the technical elements of it. And it's just like they say that that's having a sense of humor is a lot about timing and a lot about almost about mathematics. I think it's in many ways it's parallel to this, because it's always about coming in on the right timing and knowing when to push when things need to be pushed, and knowing when to pull back when things need to be pulled back. And I've taken so many things from my childhood and these occurrences with my parents at home into my adult life and into my craft.
Nice. And then you started working like in the bar as a bartender, or what was the role that you were taken?
Well, yeah. At first, it was just a job, for the summer, end of the high school, or towards the end of my high school years.
How many years ago? How many years ago you started?
Well, yeah, I'm 40 years old now, so 23 years.
Ooh.
23 years.
There are some years.
Definitely, it has been a while.
It's been.
Yeah, so it was just 23 years ago. This was the end of the 90s. It was just a job. I never made the conscious decision of this is going to be my career. But then, as you know, as things developed, I never wanted to leave. It was never something that I looked at, you know, as many young people look at this profession today. Um, yeah, they look at it as, you know, either bartending or waitressing or any profession in hospitality. Many young people look at it as, okay, this is what I'm going to do until I finish school, or until I'm out of my until I get my law permit, or anything else, or until I become an astronaut or a journalist or anything, you know. Um,
Was there a moment where you decided that because usually it's either gradually or it's a moment that defines, okay, I really like this industry, I love it, it's not just a part-time
like like
job.
I like I always say, I fell in love with it from day one. I fell in love with it from day one, and I never looked at it as something that would be temporary. I mean, I never made the decision. I never sat down with myself or with my parents when I was younger, and told them, "Listen, this is what I'm going to do." I went to university. I did all sorts of things. I went to military service here in Israel because military is mandatory here, and everything. But that always was went parallel with my what was then my developing career. And even, and it was funny because in the early years, my parents, they were looking at it, in a cynical way, looking at it as, okay, this is something that the boy will do until he finds the real job, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But then for me, it was always my real job, and even my father, which was quite, I would say, quite annoying back in the day. Even when I was like after 6, 7, or 8 or 10 years, even I remember sitting in one of my parents' family dinners, and we had some guests over, and one of the guests asked my father, "What am I engaged in? What is my profession? What do I do?" I think I was about 26 or 28. Um, and then I said, I'm a bartender. And then my father said that this is my hobby, and, and I was so angry at him. I was so annoyed with him that he couldn't respect and look at my decision making and look at the way I view my future, the way I view it. Um, but then it was always a struggle because it was never their dream that I become a bartender or a person of hospitality. So I think that me being successful in my career, that in many ways helped them embrace this decision of mine. I think that if had I not been as successful as I was, maybe we would still be talking about it,
As a hobby,
about
he's still
as a
doing his
hobby, or
hobby.
something that I will do until I find my real job.
Usually, yeah,
Um,
that's what's happening.
but yeah, but on the other hand, I think that there are many other choices that I could have made, but I think if you're an artist, then the only way that you will truly be happy is if you go about your art. And it's a great thing, for people with great potential to do other things, but we only have one try. So um, I think that I'm 100% complete with my decisions.
Nice. And you did some nice decisions. When you decided to open your own place?
Well, 223, which is our first venue, that was opened in 2008. I was 28 years old, and it was and still is the first ever cocktail bar in Israel.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that you were the pioneer of And I heard people that were opening after the moment you started innovating in the industry.
Yeah. So this was a huge leap for for us as young professionals back in the day, because back in 2008 the craft was, I would say, unknown. Even internet was kind of like slowly developing. This was 13 years ago, yeah. So social media was not even a big thing, or not definitely not as big as it is today. So all these fountains of information, these were, we needed to actually read books, uh, so that we educate ourselves. So, and even global traveling was not as popular as it is today, or as it was before COVID. Um, Global traveling, and if you had told me back in the day that I would be flying around every other week to go, judge a competition, or to do a master class or a lecture or whatever, and that people would be interested in knowing about how I execute my professionalism and my hospitality. Back in the day, this was a crazy notion, yeah, and it's a full-on reality today. But yeah, back in 2008, I remember going to the bank to ask for a small loan because I had no money. To ask for a small loan to open a cocktail bar, and the manager of the bank, he said, "Are you crazy? Who drinks cocktails?" Yeah, and it was, it took a lot of what we call in Hebrew chutzpah. It took a lot of courage, or guts, on our side, to say, listen, they don't drink cocktails today, but they will.
Yeah.
And sure enough, within a few short years, it became a huge trend, and many cocktail bars followed, and so we're very proud of being one of the first, and being a part of what made this industry the way it is today. And we see a lot of new places and venues being opened, and other people going about and making this their profession. Not nearly enough, in my view. I don't think that enough people still today view this as their career, or at least are 100% serious about it being their career. Because the way I view it, not many people. Some people say that they want to be professionals, but then they don't necessarily go to the extra mile of actually becoming a professional.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
really doing the thing of a professional, because
Getting the
sometimes it's
task.
harder.
Yeah. You see young people, they work in some place, and they've been there for a couple of months, and they already think about, okay, when am I getting promoted? Or, after 6 months of work, oh, I'm a consultant now. I'm not a regular bartender anymore. I'm doing consulting.
Or I'm a superstar. I'm a star tender.
Bartender, or all this true bullshit, um,
White
which
noise,
is
as you said, no?
complete white noise. And because as my most hated word in the business is mixology, or a mixologist, because for me it's an invented, self-gratifying word that
Yeah, yeah.
bartenders with low self-esteem invented for themselves, so that they can be parallel to chefs.
Yeah, and Angus Winchester said this, that these are the names that the bartenders invented, as you said, for the self-esteem, but he said that for them to be paid more. So they found a definition. I'm not a bartender. I'm a mixologist, and I need to be paid more, like the chefs. Yeah, as you said, like the chefs, putting
So
the
I think that I think that the word itself and the self-gratification, that is wrong. But on the other hand, the actual wanting to become professional, no matter what you call it, mixologist or whatever, yeah, wanting to actually be a master of your craft, this is good. Yeah, this is a great thing. but then you see all these guys, putting the armbands on and the suspenders and making the mustache, but that doesn't make you a professional. You might look like you're a professional, but then if you don't put in the hours, if you don't, take in the information, if you don't read, if you don't watch YouTube with amazing bartenders, if you don't
Learn somehow, yeah.
make yourself educated and put in the hours, put in the legwork, put in the back injuries, put in the cracked fingers from all the water and everything. Put in those things for a long time, for years, not months, years.
You need to pay the price, even if it's not money, but there is a price. You need to pay the price.
Yeah, as I call it, the tuition. Yeah, you need to. You may say that you want to be professional, but sometimes, in order to become that, you need to pay the tuition. You need to pay.
Exactly. Nice. I enjoy it. Woohoo. I like talking about hospitality so much. I have a question regarding your backstory. If you think about your history in the hospitality industry, and you would distill it in one sentence, how would you describe your backstory in this industry in just one sentence or a few words, or maybe a couple of sentences max, like distilling all the history?
I would say that hospitality in general is something that you dream of, and then you seek ways of making that dream become reality. And I think that most of all, people when they make their choices of where to go, where to invest their time and money, and what show they want to watch on a certain evening. I think that from me to be complete, to have complete contention in my craft, in my work, I think that this was born from dreams, and then following those dreams and making those, even though being as outlandish as they might be, sometimes trying to see how they would come alive. So this is, I think, just like any art form, yeah. I think this is the best way that I can describe what I'm getting up in the morning for, and this is like my entire career.
Nice. So this will be the title of the podcast, actually, and I'll put it. So would be born from dreams, and then following the dreams and bring them to life somehow.
Yeah, good.
This describes your history. Is this
I
describing?
would say.
Perfect. Good. So you distilled your life in one sentence. Not so easy, no? To put everything aside and touch the core.
But that's how good you do this, Paul, because you're a cutthroat interviewer, and you take your people who are interviewed by you.
Yeah, I learned it was so hard at the beginning, and I started learning how to put questions, how to follow the interviews. I was looking at the interviews because it took a lot of practice, and it was fun. It is, and I enjoyed the process a lot. And what helped me a lot is that I'm very curious. I like putting questions because I'm deadly curious. And talking about questions, actually, the main question of this podcast is the core of this Hospitality Secrets podcast. Actually, is the word hospitality, and I strongly believe that we need to go to the root, to the concept of the word hospitality, of the concept of hospitality, to find out a bit more, and then to start applying this concept a bit more in the hospitality industry. So the main question of this podcast is for you, Ariel Leizgold. What is hospitality?
I think that hospitality, more than anything, is understanding your guest, and is about making them feel that they are special, but not just as a cliche. of that I have something special for you, but genuinely creating an atmosphere and an environment that is that feels at least completely and utterly and fully custom made. And it's kind of like, and this was discussed in many master classes and sessions, but it's the best example is like when you go to a hotel, to a nice hotel that you're excited about, and you've dreamt about staying there, et cetera, and when you go inside that room, and it's perfect, and it smells just right, and it's completely super tidy and nice, and everything's super aesthetic, and you go into the shower, and you exit, and once you get out of the shower, you put your towel on, and it's beautiful, and you feel like you're the only one that ever used that towel to clean themselves up after they've taken the shower, and you're the only person that this towel was made for. And when you make love with your girlfriend at night in those sheets, you feel like you're the only one that was ever making love in between those sheets. And so the entire experience, the entirety of it, even though it's like, it's for everyone, it's not just for you, but the entirety of the experience, and what a good system and what a good host strives for, is to be able to create, even though it's a short relationship. Yeah, what? Our guests, they come in for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Even though it's a short relationship, to within that limited time frame, to create an experience and a feeling for our guest that feels for them completely personal and touches them in the most sensitive of places.
Nice, nice. Whoo, you went deep.
Well,
What is
I
the
think
most? Please, no, continue.
no. I said you said I went deep. I said I think it is deep.
It is deep. It
So
is
that's
deep.
why.
It is deep. What's the difference between providing hospitality to your guests or offering them services? What's the main difference between those two
Well, I
nuances?
Well, I think it's not even a nuance for me. I think providing services is simply a technical element of giving hospitality. So I would say hospitality is a far broader occurrence, or a far broader. It's not even a technical or a physical act. Hospitality would be what is in your heart, and what is the headline of what you're engaged in. And within that occurrence, you would also be providing services. But that is not the core of things. Those are just the technical elements that are in your toolbox. But true hospitality is how you use those tools in your toolbox.
Boom! I like the comparisons. It makes much easier to understand it. I have so much clicks and aha moments when I'm listening that I cannot stop smiling and enjoying it.
Well,
Nice.
I love it, and always, when I speak to my teams, and when I give master classes and trainings, etc. I always say that, I always compare this to theater, and it's
Yes.
just like, the as you say, services. Those are just, the knowing the lines of the play, and knowing where to stand, when to exit, when to enter. Those are just technical elements. But then all those things, they're nothing without your true soul, and how you bring yourself, your spirit, your personality, how you inject those elements into the technical parts of your craft. And this is the key of understanding true hospitality.
Wow, wow, wow. You just pointed it so well. And I'm studying theater a lot and now in art because I think there are a lot of things in common. And
Oh,
we need how
100%.
yeah. How
By
can
the
you
way, by
yeah,
the
please.
way, just to finish a thought, on the other hand of looking at the same thing, that there is no hospitality with just soul. Yeah,
Indeed.
there's no just soul or just good intentions or just your gut and heart. You also need the services. Yeah, you also need to know your lines. You need to what we call know everything there is to know about menus, procedures, and everything else. Yeah, you need to know about what the inspiration of the venue that you're working in. You need to know about talking about the owners of the venue, the managers of the venue,
Sorry, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
chef, putting all the story out. When you serve a drink or serve a dish of food, you need to know the inspiration and story behind that, and not just robotic ingredients.
In
And
in a
those are
theater, if you don't know
technical
the line,
elements.
those are the
I would say those are the technical elements, but the spiritual elements, they can't live without the technicals.
yeah. Going back to theater, if you don't know the lines, if you don't know where to stay on a stage, you can put your soul inside, but it's a shitty. It will be a shitty theater. It won't be
Yeah,
something successful. So they are working together.
definitely,
So
definitely.
let's imagine that I want to start working for you, and I'm new in the industry, and I would like to start working in the hospitality industry. I have no idea about hospitality. How you would explain me what hospitality is, and what should I have to do? What I have to do in order to show hospitality to my guests?
Well, as I said, hospitality is a blend of those two very, very big headlines. Those two elements. One is mastering the technical parts of it. So this is just we can teach monkeys how to do that. Yeah.
Machines will come.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to know by heart, all the menus of the venue. We need to know all the various procedures of it. We need to know everything there is to know on the technical side of, and how we dress and how we come and how we look and everything else. But those are the technical elements. But then on the other hand, you need to understand and learn and follow an example of understanding timing and understanding the true essence of how we interact with our guests. And I would say that for a beginner, one is a good thing for a system to put beginners in the on the shift with people who are more experienced and people who show better example, of course. And this is something that would be irresponsible thing on our side, to throw people in without proper education and proper supervision. But then I would say that end of the day, true hospitality is how you implement all those technical elements and all those forms of service that are I would say dry, and how you spice them up with your personality, with your I would say personal agenda, and how that
Nice.
completes a full story of how you give people hospitality.
Nice, nice, nice. Boom. What isn't hospitality? What is not hospitality? Like at the other pole.
A while ago, I was working in a coffee shop, and I was with my laptop, and I was, doing whatever it is I do. And then I had a waitress. She came along. She was very nice. She was very hospitable. I ordered, I don't remember, maybe a coffee or whatever. And then I went about my business. And I thought, and I even remember saying to myself, how nice this girl was. And she served me the coffee, and I was working. And then maybe 20 minutes went by. And then I saw that same girl with another table. and this table was like with maybe just a few feet away from me, and then she had her back to me, and then once she finished, I didn't hear what they were saying because it was it was a bit far away, and then I didn't hear what they were saying, and then she had her back to me, and then she turned around and she rolled her eyes. You know, she turned around and she rolled her eyes, and they didn't see it. The people who were sitting at the table, they didn't see that she rolled her eyes, but I saw it.
Ah,
And
wow, yeah.
and then I thought to myself, this she was so nice to me, but then I saw what happened at the table, and obviously the guys who were sitting there, they didn't realize that she used that form of body language to kind of to describe or to pinpoint for herself even that she was not pleased with whatever it was that was going on at the table. But then for me and for everybody probably who saw her, that made the experience drop dramatically, because she was no longer, for me, she was no longer that nice, talented, knowledgeable person. She was just somebody who had no self-awareness, and this was somebody who did not come to the theater to really showcase a beautiful premiere night.
Yeah.
She only just came, to do her job. And we cannot, as people of hospitality, we cannot choose our guests, So in that sense, it's even more challenging than actually being in than actually acting in the theater, because our public, the people who watch our show, they are part of it. So it's
Yeah.
an interactive show. Yeah,
They
they
are
have their
co-creating the hospitality experience.
exactly. So they have their likes and dislikes and everything, and we cannot really predict what they will say. So this is something that is truly challenging for us as people of hospitality. But what I would always say, especially for younger people, is never lose character. Never lose character. Always remember there's always someone watching.
Always.
And
I'm telling also to this everybody, if you scratch your nose or your butt,
Yeah.
if you're on the stage, somebody is watching you. It's like going
Yeah.
to Disneyland and you see Mickey Mouse with his head off and smoking a cigarette.
Smoking a cigarette, yeah. I mean, it's a huge, beautiful example, by the way, the Mickey Mouse. But yeah, it's completely true. There's always someone watching. And, to me, if we go back to what I said earlier with us in the conversation, to me, that girl who up until that point for me was quite, I would say, yeah, professional. To me, that girl, she was not really giving hospitality from her soul. She was, I was nice to her, so she felt she could be nice back, to me. But then something happened probably at the table that made her kind of like react differently. But that spoiled the experience also for me, even though she was quite nice to me when she was with me.
It's like finding out that she faked the orgasm after you did it, no? It's like, oh, you ruined the whole experience.
As good as I thought I was.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you think about yourself also.
Yeah.
Which is the most memorable hospitality experience that you ever felt in this industry, but as a guest, not you providing it? What comes on the top of your mind? What's the most memorable hospitality experience?
Yeah, well, two things come to mind. One is maybe the highest level of hospitality that I know is in New York City, a place called a restaurant called Per Se. It's it's one of Thomas Keller's venues. It's a three Michelin star restaurant in New York City, and I was there quite a few times by now. But the first time I was there, I remember that. First of all, I was obviously quite excited, just like going to see a beautiful Broadway show, or like in something that is very, very close to your heart and really connects with you. But what I remember more than anything was that it was more than just, having a beautiful night of hospitality or an evening. It was actually like being in theater. It was actually, and more than anything, it was like nobody loses character. There are dozens of people hosting you, and everybody is kind of like, and it truly does feel like it's custom made for you. And regardless, throughout the dinner, probably we had maybe 10 or 12 different people serving the table. But even people after like 2 hours, there would be somebody coming out, and it would be the first time that we saw them, even though it was after 2 hours of being there, and that person would know exactly everything that happened, between us arriving there and that point in time. So it was so dramatic. And also what they do is they look you up. Yeah, they Google you when you make a reservation, and they know shit about you.
They do their homeworks, yeah? It's so
They do their
personal.
homework. Yeah, so a few times down the line when I was there again, I was there with my business partners, and this was back in 2016, and we had dinner. It was a beautiful dinner, and towards the end of the dinner, another person comes out, and there was the four of us for dinner, and they have a tray with 4 cocktails on the tray, and he said, "I'm the head bartender here, and I really wanted you to try our new cocktail list. This place doesn't even have a bar." Where did you come from? And and he served us the drinks. They were on the house, and then before he leaves, he says, "And good job at world class, Ariel."
Boom! Wow!
To the face, and I was blown away. I mean, who are you? This was to make people feel like you have a connection on a different level. I think that for me, that was one of the highest levels of hospitality, which I personally encountered.
And it's the most memorable. It comes to mind when somebody asks you which is the most memorable. Buck is the first thing, which is the deepest.
I would say I had many great hospitality experiences. Many of them in Japan.
Yeah.
Any experience in Japan is weird and amazing. So
It is. And memorable. You cannot forget. There are a few things you cannot forget.
yes. So yeah,
That's the most memorable. Nice.
I would say.
What are your top 3 or 5 strategies for being an absolutely amazing host? You are amazing as a host. Do you have some strategies like step 1, do this, look in the eye, smile, do this? If you have some steps easy to follow.
I'm not sure I know how to answer that question. No, I would say no. I would say I have one thing. And that has a lot to do with self-awareness and understanding what it is that we're doing when we're on shift, when we're on the stage, as we call it. And that is understanding the headline and the main objective of your evening. So, and this objective, I call it, is creating an overwhelming experience or an overwhelmingly amazing experience. And this, as I call it, the headline. So what I ask my staff and also for myself to always maintain this notion that there is a headline above all the guests. And this is something that is our vision of what we strive to create, And always we need to ask ourselves during the show, during the evening, we need to ask ourselves, am I in the middle of creating an overwhelming and amazing experience for these people? And if the answer to that is no, not really, then I need to use more tools that are in my toolbox, because the toolbox is something that we give our, we give our staff, we give our colleagues. It's everything that we create, all the menus, all the various experiences that we showcase on the venue. But then it's the way the things come into place, with as the evening unfolds. That is the big challenge. So no evening is similar to the evening previous to it, and no couple or group are the same.
Yeah.
So we need to always maintain this element, this mechanism of self-awareness. And it's almost like a technical thing, of asking yourself, literally asking yourself, am I succeeding in this? Am I really creating this experience? And technically going back to that question that you ask yourself. It's like when you're managing, when you're managing a shift, like you're the shift manager, you're not bartending, you're not on the floor, you're shift managing, then you need to, for me, like we have a thing where every 15 minutes we need to go to the restroom and look at the restroom and see that the restroom is clean and it's nice, but it's a technical thing. It has nothing to do with your feeling or anything. It's a technical thing. Every 15 minutes you need to go there, or every half hour you need to do something else. It's a technical procedure. Mm-hmm. So what I'm talking about is a technical procedure that has to do with your self-awareness, with your self-monitoring. And if you don't do it frequently enough, then you will lose many groups and many couples, because you will, I wasn't self-aware frequently enough. I lost them. They had an okay experience, and now they've already asked for the bill, and now they're leaving, and I cannot take back what wasn't done. So I think that this is what I truly and always try to create and instill in all my colleagues and all the people that work with me, is that we always need to be self-monitoring, and frequently enough too.
Wow. Wow. Wow, that's deep and nice. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure if you just replied to my next question or not. I will put the next question. If the answer is the same, just let me know and we'll go to the next one. What is your secret sauce for being your secret sauce for being successful in the hospitality industry? Do you have like a secret sauce? Kind of, this is something, as you just described, could work. Do you have another like secret sauce for doing things and being successful in this industry?
Well, I think that the last question kind of covers it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last question kind of covers it. I would say, no, maybe let's skip to the next question. What do you say?
Yeah, perfect. That's why I was thinking while you were replying, I said, wow, that's exactly the secret sauce. I like this question, asking secret sauce, because I want for the listeners to hear that there are no like secrets. There are things that you need to do, as we were discussing earlier. You need to pay the price, pay the tuition, as you said, do the things, do the work. It's nothing secret that only the successful people have access to, and us, the deadly persons, we cannot do it because it's secret. There is no secret like this in the hospitality industry. That's why I'm so intrigued about the hospitality secrets. At the end of the day, there are no secrets in the hospitality industry. Everything is there on the table. You just need to be self-aware of you and what you are doing in this industry.
Yeah, and as was said earlier, you need to understand that it takes patience, that it takes persistence, that it takes time and endurance and ambition, and everything that was already said about, I would say, about all fields, and about becoming a professional in all fields, not just in bartending or hospitality, but in all fields completely.
One more question. 1 hour passed away. The last question would be: Can you hear me, Ariel?
Yeah.
Perfect. Last question. The last takeaway. Last thing. What is your number one takeaway that you really want the listeners to remember from this episode?
I think that we quite covered it earlier, but I would say that, well, we spoke a lot about the core of hospitality. I would say that today, what we see is many people who say that they want to be professionals, but maybe are not fully aware of the price it takes to truly become professional. And I would hope that we would get at least some people who are younger and wanting and see their future in this field. You cannot get anywhere if you don't understand the price that it takes to walk that road. And I would say that being patient and putting in the hours, putting in the legwork and everything else, this is I would say the secret sauce. Yeah.
And you round the circle.
This is the key ingredient of how to become professional. And the rest, that's easy. The rest is just technical things. You pick those up along the way. You learn from all your people who are, your more experienced bartenders, bosses, gurus of the hospitality industry, social media, YouTube. Everything is filled with people showing you various tricks. But going in, putting in the hours, being modest, being patient, all those things, those are products that are very, very rare today in today's industry. And this is something that if that's the only thing that people take from this conversation of ours, that's what I want them to take.
Ladies and gentlemen, you had Ariel Leizgold. Woo! Ariel, chapeau, I take my hat off. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation. It was absolutely a blast. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time talking to you, and hope to see you soon. And we're waiting for you here in Tel Aviv.
I can't wait for the borders to open. Thank you very much, Ariel. Thank you very much.
Otherwise, see you in Berlin.
Yeah, we see for sure, or both. I prefer both. Thank you very much, Ariel. For the listeners, thank you very much for being part of this fun, amazing, engaging episode with the hospitality expert, master host, Ariel Leizgold. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. That's it for today. See you next week. Cheers.
Thank you.